Happy solstice, Gellie. I started your reading and I messed it up. So we're already one card in. What sums up your overall situation? This is what covers you. We have the Queen of Summer. This is an aspect of yourself or a woman that you know that has gained maturity and balance in the areas of the heart. So it would be a woman who knows how to balance her emotions and doesn't let them control her, but allows herself to feel them. So healthy expression of emotions, but not dwelling on them, not letting her life be guided by them, but also not blocking them out. So an emotionally balanced woman, if this is an aspect of yourself, then you have found an emotional balance within yourself. What crosses you, this would either be a young woman or an aspect of yourself that's influencing that, is and I feel it really intuitively, I feel that this is about you. So you have found emotional balance and you found a way to be emotionally healthy and mature. But that is affected by this other aspect of yourself that's kind of like fun-loving and carefree, sort of impulsive. And you're kind of going in 1,000 different directions and you don't really have any plans for how you're going to complete any of your projects. You might fall in love really fast and then the next minute you're forgetting about that person, you're onto something else. Starting a lot of things, but then not really finishing a lot. You've got a lot of energy, but it's scattered. So that's coming into play with that emotional balance, possibly causing like a little bit of an interesting dynamic with that. It's not to say that it's throwing you off of your emotional balance, but it's saying that along with emotional balance, you also have a scattered energy, and then there's this restless spirit within you that still isn't really tamed. Not saying that it has to be. At the foundation of this issue, so what this would have blossomed out of, so the seed of this, we have the King of Autumn. So what laid the foundation for you to find this emotional balance and your vigor for life and enthusiasm is a supportive, stable man in your life, somebody who is mature and who is very dependable. This is a person that can be your rock. This is a person that will balance this scattered energy because he has a plan. He's got things under control. He's got, the responsible part, the routine, all of that down, so he can help guide you and remind you, about the things that need to be done and help you keep your priorities in order. He's supportive of you meeting your needs, so he's not going to let you just kind of get distracted. He's going to keep you focused on providing for food, family, home, and all of that. He's providing that stable foundation for you to rely on. And he's a good balance for your scattered energies. And also, since he's the foundation of this is a person who, through your interaction with him, has brought you that emotional balance. In your recent past, so what is before you and behind you, we have the moon. So recently you felt guided just by your gut instinct, overcome by emotion, kind of like led on this mysterious twilight path, kind of like, that exciting feeling where you're searching down fairies or other mystical creatures. And it might be like an idealistic state of mind, or maybe even like unrealistic or dreamer-like, but it's okay. You wanted to follow a fantasy, even if other people may have thought it might have been unrealistic. It may not have been grounded in facts, but it was something you just kind of, it intrigued you, and you followed it, and you wanted to see where it would take you. Sorry, I gotta move these cards. Okay. What is before you? So in your near future, as it pertains to this situation, you have the Sun. So in your near future, you are really going to tap into that masculine energy. Masculine energy being that it makes things happen. It takes action. Feminine energy is passive, but this is going to be, in your near future, finding that motivation, that charge, that fire, that I'm going to go and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, and that pairs well with this, but it's a part of that. So that's just saying that, in your near future, you're just, especially having just recently followed your heart, that's just going to just set something off in you, and it's just going to light you up, and you're just going to have this plan and you're going to go for it and be very thrilled and optimistic about it. And again, it might be a little bit unrealistic or fantasy based, but it's exciting and you want to make it happen, and you're not really too worried about whether or not it actually results in anything. It's just the actual thrill of pursuing it that is fulfilling for you, or that will be. What crowns you, the best thing you have going for you in this situation, is that you have taken a rest. You've recently been through some emotional pain, an experience that caused you sorrow or grief, and rather than just jumping back into all your projects or hiding from it, you did allow yourself to heal. You took a rest, or maybe you are currently taking a rest. You know that before you can give yourself fully to these pursuits or to go charging on like this, you have to refill your tank. And that's what's going to allow you to go on like this, because you understand and recognize the importance of self-care and slowing down, taking time to heal and process your emotions. You in this situation are the king of winter. So as the masculine, mature aspect of the winter, of course, you know, you're a Gemini, so it is air. This is saying that you have the ability to separate your logic from your emotions. And it's not that you don't feel, and it's not that you also don't have logic. It's just that you know when your emotions are not to be relied on solely in a situation. You know when it's time to just look at the facts, and no matter, say you care a lot about somebody or you have emotional ties to them, but you look at all the facts and you see that they've done this or they've done that, and that you shouldn't trust them. It's not personal, and it's not a slight against them, but you know how to make sure that you are following what's right and what's just and what's true, whether or not that hurts anybody's feelings, because that isn't the priority there. So you in this situation are just focusing on making sure that you're not deluded or disillusioned or hypnotized by a good act, or, you know, swayed by emotion. You're going to make sure you keep your logical mind intact when you're making decisions, and you're not going to let anything sway you from the facts that you know to be true. In your environment, as it pertains to this situation, you have a new beginning. This is something, again, it ties in a lot with all this energy. You're going to start something. You want to plant a seed that's going to take you to something that is very fulfilling in a creative way for you. So it's a lot of energy and, you know, like the optimism and fire stuff. So but because this is in your environment, this may be either an opportunity that someone else is presenting to you, or there might be somebody that you see that is starting to feel that burst of desire to go in a direction that lights them on fire, like that gives them passion, that allows a creative outlet. Maybe you would be a mentor to them, or maybe you are somebody that they look up to. They impact you as far as this situation goes. Maybe it excites you and you'll remember what it was like, that new and novel starting of the path when you started to discover things that maybe now you take for granted. So that could reawaken that for you. 2 more cards. Your hopes or fears as it comes to this situation. You fear that you will make a decision that you will later regret. You fear that maybe just kind of following your emotion and just charging forward with gusto, that you might be careless, or you might inadvertently overlook an important detail. And especially if you are right here, that makes a lot of sense. You really want to make sure that still that you don't get carried away, and that you don't get so gung-ho on something that you disregard the emotions of another, or that you neglect an important responsibility. So you worry that you fear that this might take you away from something that requires your attention, or that your priorities might not be as clear to you, and you will make a mistake that later you'll come to regret. Your hopes are, your possible outcome as it pertains to this situation if you continue on your current path. Sure, this is saying, you fear that something's going to go horribly wrong and you'll regret it. And this is saying, sure, you're going to have maybe some setbacks. You might have some things not go according to plan. You might have some problems, but it's not nearly as bad as it looks, and it's not something you can't recover from, and it's not something that's going to be a big deal in the long run. So you don't have to worry about regretting it for your life. Really, you could look at whatever goes wrong or whatever small mistake and make it bigger and focus on that and feel sorry for yourself and think it's awful. But the message of this card is to let you know that your possible outcome is that really there's still way more good than there is bad, and that it's not all lost. All is not over. It's not all ended. Just because something went a little bit wrong doesn't mean it's not recoverable from, and doesn't mean you have to start all over or that you have to give up on what you were going toward. So it's very possible that you might focus too much on what went wrong and allow yourself to think that that represents the entirety of the situation, but that is, in fact, an illusion. So you'll just want to think about that when it happens and remember to focus on all that is still good and not to let your perception get distorted just because of some really small flaw that you are just making into something bigger than it really needs to be. So that is your solstice reading. I hope that made sense to you, and I really hope to see you again soon. I really miss you. All right, happy solstice. Bye.